What's been happening on our northern border with Syria is nothing short of terrifying. Over 100 Druze civilians have been brutally murdered by Syria's new radical regime that was led by Abu Muhammad al-Julani, a former al-Qaeda commander and one of the world's most wanted terrorists. In one chilling attack, armed jihadists stormed the home of a Druze father and son, dragged them into the streets, and executed them on the spot. In other towns, Druze men were kidnapped. Their mustaches, a sacred symbol of honor, were shaved in public, filmed and also shared as a message of humiliation and dominance. This new regime, made up of ex-ISIS and al-Qaeda fighters, promised to protect minorities. Instead, they've unleashed a wave of terror, and behind them, Turkey supplying weapons, backing militias, and now flying F-16 fighter jets over Syrian skies. Turkish forces are entrenching themselves deeper by the day, trying to shape Syria's future in their image. Israel sees this as a warning, and the writing is on the wall. This isn't just about protecting the Druze, it's about stopping radical jihadists from taking root right across our borders. That's why, in the last few days and weeks, Israel struck back, launching precision airstrikes, sending aid, and opening safe passages to protect lives. The message is clear: Israel will not stand by while extremist terror camps grow on our doorsteps. What's happening in Syria affects all of us, and it's happening right now. Mati and I took a trip up north to Khorfish. It's a beautiful village near Israel's border with Syria. It's home to a proud and deeply rooted Druze community, many of whom serve in Israel's security forces, the IDF, and have stood side by side with us for decades. We are here to meet with our Druze brothers and sisters, to hear their voices, understand their fears, and talk about what's unfolding just across the border in Syria, where their extended community and family is under threat. But before we go, please subscribe and share. The world needs to see what's really happening on the ground, and your support helps us bring these truths to the rest of the world so that you can pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Things are getting complicated in the Middle East. I mean, I think we need to explain some of the moving pieces. So we have a shared border with Syria, and there's a bunch of Druze communities in southern Syria. They've been attacked by al-Julani.
Yes.
Al-Julani is an organization that took over in a military coup.
HTS.
HTS, exactly. They're formerly ISIS.
Linked to al-Qaeda.
Linked to al-Qaeda, yeah. Anyway, not really good guys. Radical Islamists. Their leader, al-Julani, promises, and he says, we're not going to be like the other Islamists. We're not going to kill the minorities. We're not going to massacre them. Literally, almost overnight, they go and start massacring minorities. They started with the Alawites, and then they said, no, it's political. It's not ethnically backed. Yeah. Then they pick on the Druze.
October 7th style.
It's violent. It's brutal. It's ethnically and religiously motivated, period.
Yeah.
Israel looks at this, and we say there's a huge problem here. One, we don't want al-Julani on our border. We don't want radical Sunnis on our border. Two, al-Julani doesn't represent al-Julani. Al-Julani represents other interests in this region.
Yeah.
Not the Iranians, surprisingly.
Yes, definitely.
He's like the one minority that isn't tied into but he does represent Turkish interests in this region. And the Turks want to have a stake in Syria. They want to have bases in Syria, replacing the Russians.
In the Middle East, there's never a vacuum of power. Somebody will fill it up very, very fast. And at the moment, the IDF is present on multiple strategic locations in Syria and preventing jihadist militias from moving south of Damascus and carrying out attacks against the Druze communities. And some clashes took place between the Druze and the Christians against the jihadists. And Israel already evacuated Druze people. I think it's 120 people were evacuated so far into Israeli hospitals in the northern part of Israel. And on top of that, Israel also sent humanitarian aid to these communities, and also are in negotiations and in undercover talks with al-Julani to stop these attacks against the Druze minorities and against the Christian minorities.
From our perspective, the Druze are valuable members of Israeli society, serve in the IDF, they're brothers to the full extent of it.
But they have ties to their family members that are on the other side of the border.
Yeah.
So you have Druze in Israel, and then the same family has members in Syria, in Lebanon.
We want to make sure that our allies, the Druze in Israel, are safeguarded. We want to make sure that their families outside of Israel are safeguarded.
Yeah.
I have to pause and say, like, look how beautiful the view is outside.
It is nice. It is nice.
Wow. We've arrived in Kholfish, a peaceful and picturesque village in Israel's north, just a short drive from the Lebanese and the Syrian border. This community is predominantly Druze, and its history here goes back centuries, long before the State of Israel was ever established. Nestled in the hills of the Western Galilee, Kholfish is known for its strong traditions, hospitality, and deep sense of national service. The Druze people in Israel are a unique and proud minority. Though their religion is secretive and distinct from Islam, they built a strong bond with the Jewish people in the State of Israel. And since Israel's early years, Druze citizens have volunteered and later been drafted into the IDF, with many rising to high ranks in the military and public service. Today, I have the honor of meeting Sheikh Qasim Badil, a deeply respected spiritual leader in Israel's Druze community. Sheikh Qasim Badil, thank you for having us. You are the president of the Universal Peace Council, but also a prominent leader in the Druze community. How do people in your community feel with everything that's been happening in recent months?
If we can see, for example, in the last weeks, what happened in Syria, for example. If we look to the history, the Druzes support the Assad regime.
Yeah.
And they support the King Hussein. We support the Israeli government. We support the Lebanese, because we have a faith that we should be loyal citizens to our land, first of all, and after that we are loyal to our government, to our regime. What happened in Syria? Immediately, suddenly, one day, the regime have been changed there, and we find a new regime, not the modern regime. We are talking about a fundamentalism regime, and we see what they did with the Alawim, with the Christian, with the Sunnah, with the Druze. The Druze today feel that we have been falling between the chairs. One side there is Israel, a democratist regime. The second side is Syria, fundamentalism regime. We, the Druze, want a peace with Syria. We want open borders, but without war. We want peace between Julani or the regime in Syria with Israel, and we can really open the borders, and we can practice our relations between our families here in the area. The majority of the Druze community in the world live in the Middle East, and the majority in the Middle East live in Syria. It's about 1 million Druzes live in Syria. 600,000 Druzes live in Lebanon. 140,000 Druzes live in Israel, including the Golan Heights for Druze villages. And we have it close to 20,000 Druzes live in Jordan. This community who live in the Middle East, since the 1948, we began to face difficult conflicts. For example, my wife, originally she is from south of Lebanon. And we married in 1990, and she moved to live in Israel, and her parents remain in south of Lebanon. Until 2000, the border was opened, and my wife, she can move and cross the border every day if she wants. And 2000, we have a new reality in the Israel and the Middle East, that the Israeli government decided to withdraw from south of Lebanon without any peace agreement, one way, and they closed the border, and unfortunately Hezbollah and Iran control south of Lebanon. Since 2000 until this moment, my wife cannot meet her parents. We need peace relations with the neighbors to achieve the real peace, because we believe that Druze as a minority, that only the peace can solve these issues in the Middle East, not wars. You have the right to live here, and I have the right to live here. And the land, all of us can live here together. The land belongs to God. It's not belong to the Jewish or to the Arab or to the Druze. It's belong to God. And if I raised my children to love you as a brother, as a human being, we can succeed. We can live together.
How do you explain to someone who comes from the outside and says, Sheikh, what do you believe in? Who are your people? How did you end up in this part of the world?
The first Druzes came in the 11th century from Egypt. Now, there is very important principles, let's say, in the Druze religion, that the Druze religion is non-missionary faith. No one can convert today to be Druze. Now, it was a period of 24 years in the 11th century in Egypt. Let's say the gates was opened, and a million of people have been converted and believe in this way. Immediately they convert to be a Druze. In the end of this period, 24 years, the prophets have been decided to preach no more, and they close the gates, let's say, and no one can today convert to be Druze. No one can choose to be Druze. To be Druze, you should born for two Druze parents. It's so important. Non-missionary faith, two Druze parents, father and mother. In the Judaism, you belong to the mother. Christian and Muslim, you belong to the father. Druze, you belong to both of them. Our Holy Scriptures is very closed, and it's only allowed to the religious people to hold, to study, to practice the principles of the religion to the Holy Scriptures. Between 4 to 5 million Druzes live in the world today. We don't believe that the Druzes have or should have Druze state. We believe where you're born, this is your fate. God decided and sent you for a mission in this place. You have to be loyal. You have to be loyal to your land. You have to educate and to protect yourself and to protect your community. And we are the descendants of Jethro. Jethro was father-in-law of the Prophet Moses. And therefore we Muslim and Jewish, very close in the religion. And I want to tell you that we have very delicious food. If you want to convert to be Druze only for the delicious food,
You understand, but you still don't accept us.
A war zone in the Gaza Strip being under fire by Hamas terrorists. You don't have time to sit and drink your coffee and wake up in the morning and get ready for the day and prepare. So sometimes I woke up at 2 in the morning after an hour and a half of sleep, and you need to wake up immediately and do your job and do it to perfection or people die.
You literally have your life on the line. You don't know what corner you turn and somebody's got a gun pointed at you.
So in order to wake up, I just took a Vinia pill, and I really felt the energy levels go up faster. The clarity of mind that doesn't usually happen immediately when you wake up in the morning.
Right.
And I don't remember taking much stuff with me into the Gaza Strip. I had my sleeping bag, a flashlight, and the Vinia bottle. So that's what I had with me.
You're a young person. You're very healthy, but you still think that Vinia was helpful to get you to even a higher level of performance?
It's helping me to exceed my normal abilities. So let's say, I'm at 100%, and that puts me at 120. With raising 3 kids, you need to be sharp and make the right decisions.
Raising 3 kids may be equal to combat.
A lot harder, a lot harder. Listen, I'm still taking Vinia every day because I want to be there with my kids when they grow old. I want to be able to dance at their wedding and carry my kids and my grandkids for years to come. And this is the time to start, when you're young.
From representation in government to equal rights and military service, the Druze community is fully part of Israeli society and fiercely loyal to the country they call home. We're going to take a stroll through the village and head to a local Druze restaurant for lunch. Please like and subscribe and share the truth of what is going on here in Israel with the world.
Sambusak.
I love sambusak.
Maybe we can explain what sambusak is.
I'll explain. Sambusak is a Middle Eastern calzone. That's what it is.
Okay, good.
That's what it is.
Good explanations. Bon appetit, Mati.
Sambusak ha'arazim, the cedar sambusak. And ours is lamb.
Lamb cheese and
Do I say
bread.
this out loud? Lamb cheese and spices.
And you have here some lemon
And
juice.
some lemon juice.
That was very good.
Oh, very good.
Oh, we were hearing an explanation from them, telling us For the Druze community, this is like one of their staple fast foods.
Exactly. And they said that this food connects the Druze people of Lebanon, the Druze people of Syria, and the Druze people of Israel. And I think it's important to explain that these people lived under rocket fire from Hezbollah, from Palestinian terrorists from Syria, for more than a year and a half throughout this war. Basically until Israel completed the ground maneuver in Lebanon and also in Syria and took strategic locations there. And that's the only time that they have peace now and are not running to bomb shelters. More than 9,000 rockets were fired towards the northern parts of Israel, and 80,000 Israelis were evacuated. I think that the Druze communities decided to stay in their homes despite the attacks and the rockets.
This is amazing. Oh, and it's it's absolutely delicious. The story of Khufish and the brave, loyal Druze community is a reminder of the deep bonds that holds this nation together. In a region filled with uncertainty and rising threats, Israel stands firm, not only in defense for its borders, but in defense of its people. Whether Jewish, Druze, Christian, Muslim, every citizen matters. While chaos unfolds just across the border, Israel chooses strength. It chooses compassion and unity, reaching out to help, standing up to extremism, and continuing to build a future where every community is valued and protected. So stand with us, share the truth in a world where evil still rises. Israel stands for life, for justice, and for all of its people. Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.